but we always enjoy talking to Aaron Rodgers because we find him interesting. And I feel like weirdly unknown. Like, it's just weird. You don't get to be that great at that sport and that kind of famous with commercials. And I don't feel like people know this dude.
Unknown by design, I think.
I don't know. Let's ask him. All right. So thanks for being on with us, as always, Aaron. Can you give me a number to this question? How many people in your life do you trust?
Wow. I think there's different levels of trust.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Right. There's an inner circle of probably 8 or 10, and then kind of a wider circle of maybe 25 people or so, probably.
Okay. And so, like, is that hard to go through life that way? Do you feel like that's a good number, or for someone in your position, not a great number?
No, I think it's a good number. I mean, you kind of have to be a little skeptical in this business. Just it kind of makes you that way, but no, I think you have to be a good judge of character and let people show you their true colors eventually.
Well, but what do you mean in this business? Do you mean the fame business? Do you mean football?
I mean, yeah, when you've achieved some success and there's people who, you can tell either right away or eventually are trying to, get some from you, use you in some way. It makes you a little more skeptical first of people and their intentions.
How do you feel about the media? Do you trust the way that you're covered, or are you perpetually wary that someone's trying to sort of play an angle to get something out of you?
I think you have to be wary. I think you have to approach every interview with a clear mind and think about what you want to say and what message you want to get out. I think it's also important, if you're worried about getting taken out of context, that you just record your interviews. It's something I've been doing for a while now. I think it's important to have that second recording. So if someone's trying to take something you said out of context, you can go back and say, wait a
minute, Rodgers, wait a minute, what are you doing? You got someone around you all the time?
No, I have this thing called an iPhone, and it has this little app within it where you can push the memo button and it starts recording the things you're saying.
But who else does that? Wait a minute. Why? I've never heard of anybody doing that before. While I understand you doing that, have you been burned before?
Natalie Portman actually did an interview a few years ago about it, and I thought it was an interesting idea. And it's a way, if you're in a one-on-one situation where there's no gray area. What you said is what you said, and there's not a way to take your words and move them around a little bit. Now there is, without a video, there's ways where things you say might get taken the tone out of context. If you're joking, if you're laughing, and it doesn't come off in the words, you can't do anything about that. But your specific words that you do say, there's not discrepancy there.
All right, hold on a second. Are you paranoid? And again, I'm not accusing you of this because I know that sometimes people have a persecution complex but are also persecuted. This is a very reasonable fear that you have, and these are great lengths you're going to protect it. But I'm just curious. Are you a little bit?
I wouldn't say this is not great lengths. This is me pushing a button on my phone simultaneously with the interviewer doing the exact same thing.
Aaron, Dan thinks this is a lot harder than it actually is.
I'm just saying I've never.
It's amazing.
It is really not great lengths. It's a great correction by him.
He just hits a button.
All right, how about unusual lengths? Are you willing to tolerate unusual lengths?
Unusual, yeah, maybe, but it shouldn't be. I think more people should probably do it. If you're worried about getting anything you said taken out of context as far as the specific words and the order in which you said them,
Well, but this is I'm frustrated as a consumer by this, Aaron, because I know in there that you're really interesting, and I know that you've got opinions that I want to hear, and it feels like the environment we've created around you doesn't allow you to be free with any of those opinions, not a one of them.
Well, I don't think you can make a blanket statement like that about sports. I think it's more specific to the sport that you play, and our sport is less forthcoming with opinions, say, in comparison to the NBA, where guaranteed contracts, I think, allow players to talk a little more openly about things that are meaningful to them.
Oh, but Aaron, like at this point, doesn't your excellence protect you on that front? Like you could say what you want. You'd have a job no matter what you said.
That may be true, but I'd like to see more of my contemporaries able to speak their mind a little more freely as well.
Well, let me ask you this question then, since we're here. What's something that you believe that maybe is not a majority opinion? Are you willing to go down that path, or is that too dangerous for you?
I like specific questions, but I don't know if this is the forum, Dan, where I want to make a statement that your network's going to run with and put on a banner. I mean, I said they asked me a fan opinion question in my locker room interview the other day about how I felt about fans believing that the team is okay with mediocrity, which I thought was an absolutely ridiculous question to even pose to me, that we're going to start entertaining fan questions in a locker room setting. However, and opinions like that, based on our track record, our success here, your network decided to put that on like the lead. Aaron Rodgers disagrees with sentiments that Packers are okay with mediocrity.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. We do create an environment that makes it really hard for Aaron Rodgers, for us to see his personality. I guess what you're basically saying is it's our fault, right? Now that I'm going to take that headline and I'm going to twist it and put it on ESPN. But it's our fault that you can't be forthcoming. We can't be trusted with this particular toy.
Oh, Dan, stop it.
But I think he's right. I happen to agree with him.
Yes, it's our fault, and that becomes the headline.
I agree with him, though.
Right.
We will absolutely take his fame, and anything that he says, we will make it larger than it is, and therefore we'll put him in a position where he can't say the actual large things he believes, because it's going to make him the distraction.
All right, so Aaron, let me ask you this. What would be the correct forum for you to address some of that stuff?
It depends. I actually have an interview coming out with your friend Mina, who is a fantastic writer. That we went a few places that I felt comfortable going in that forum. So I look forward to that coming out.
Oh, wow. So you gave Mina Kimes some of the good stuff is what you're telling us. Okay, so you...
She's a fantastic writer.
Right.
Yes, she is.
Well, Dan used to be. So what you're saying is you trust Mina more than you trust me and Le Batard, is what you're saying.
No, it's forum.
Right.
Okay. I got
Take it easy. I know you're a little sensitive about, our relationship and where it's at right now.
I don't like where it's at right now.
He knows.
That video you did with Sarah Spain, man.
He has gotten discerning at knowing who to trust and who not to trust.
But Aaron, let's agree, though. It would have been funny. You said you only come on the Le Batard show because of Dan, but it would have been funnier if you said you only came on the Le Batard show because of Stu Gatz, right?
True. That's true.
It would have.
Yeah,
wouldn't have been true, but it would have.
I know.
I'm curious about this, though, because it's really frustrating to me, Aaron. Like, I want the American public to see how interesting you actually are. And I hate this environment that we've created where you have to be worried. When's the time you've been burnt the most? The thing that you've said where you felt most burnt?
I don't know. I've said a couple dumb things over the years. I don't know if those are taken out of context, but I think it's when you get pigeonholed in an interview where they want to fit a quote to the story that writer has already written, and once you give them something that fits in that little box, they either turn off their recording device or make it known to you with their body language that this interview is over. Those are not great environments to do interviews. Those make you feel like it's not really a conversation. The best interviews are conversations where the writer may have an idea about where they want to go, but based on your responses, it can change through that. And that's why I enjoy doing your guys' show, and I've enjoyed doing Jim Rome over the years because and Dan Patrick. It starts somewhere, but it goes to wherever the conversation takes it, and those are the best interviews and the ones where you feel most comfortable continuing to repeat those.
What is the greatest media frustration you have? Is it that one or is it a different one?
I don't really have a ton of great media frustrations. I don't give it a lot of time, really. I'm too busy watching Jeopardy and South Park and trying to catch up on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I just think there's so much stuff on TV now, and there's just not a ton of content. So the littlest stories, i.e., a quote I had about a question that seems silly to me, becomes a talking point with 5 people at a table debating things. And it just seems like the TV in our sport and really across the board has become people who can talk the loudest and talk nonsense and make the most ridiculous statements to try and grab viewership. Also in the same boat, it's these clickbait headlines that really have nothing to do with the gist of the story. But if they can do something that just is on the fringe of what actually was said in the story, but get the most clicks, well, that's going to be the headline.
All right, I want to talk Game of Thrones with him. I want to talk South Park with him. I want to talk Jeopardy with him. We're going to do that next.
I want to talk $100,000 pyramid with him.
Well,
he was so excited when he was on that game.
He's really good at these games. Yeah, he's really good at them. And also, he just addressed that his greatest media complaint is Stugat.
Yep.
So we'll get to that. Congratulations.